episode is brought to you by the Municipal Councillor for the District of St. Bruno since 2013, Mr. David Dakotas. David understands his important role as a competent and honest administrator. In addition to his mandate as a Municipal Councillor for the District of St. Bruno, he held key positions on the Executive Committee as Vice President of the Executive Committee and Deputy Mayor. Restaurant Cliche, located at 313 Notre-Dame No. 6 in Repentigny, is a trendy restaurant that offers impeccably delicious Italian traditional food. This restaurant, which also caters events such as weddings, baptisms, showers, and birthdays, offers amazing menu selections to fit all tastes and budgets. Welcome back. I love this show. Well, it's not really a show, but it's like I do put on a show. Mm-hmm. It's actually a podcast, and I love this podcast, Let's Talk It Out, because of, and I keep saying it every single podcast, every intro, but it's so true. I enjoy it. I adore it. It's epically colossal. Why?
Whoa.
Because of the many amazing people that we get to meet, right? Yeah. And it's so interesting to learn and to sort of, grow along with the person that you're communicating with, because it makes you learn more about me, the person, and I'm very philosophical this evening. And I know a lot of you already know who this gentleman next to me is. However, I will introduce him formally. But before I do that, I would like to thank our sponsors, whom we just saw before entering into this wonderful podcast. So thank you so much, David Dakotas. Thank you so much, Leo Iacono, Restaurant Cliche. Always a pleasure. We are very, very humbled by your support. And thank you so very, very much. And now, without further ado, I'd like to introduce my next guest, very talented author, Michael Occhionero.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome. Now, I just want to put it out there because people might make the mistake that we're related. Mm-hmm. I've never seen this man for a while. No, I'm kidding.
Only a couple times.
Only a couple of times, yeah. But we are of no relation, which is the really funny part.
Well, we don't know, like, specifically. We must be somewhere way down the
line.
Some way related.
How many Occhioneri are there? Like, really? Like, how many? There's quite a few.
Yeah, maybe a handful, yeah.
Probably.
That I'm aware of.
Yeah, I know. Like, but it's funny because every time there is an Occhionero that comes about, they're like, are you related to? No.
Yeah, I've gotten that a few times too, for sure.
Exactly.
It's a very distinct last name.
I know, eh? They're like, black guy. I always get no, but your eyes are blue. Yes, I know.
Yes.
Anyways, but thank you for coming on and
Thanks
welcome.
for having me. Thank you.
It was long overdue.
Yes, we've been trying really hard. I'm glad we finally made it work.
We chose the day. Well, this whole podcast is to learn about you and who you are and how you became an author. What led you to this, this path. Mm-hmm. So we're going to start just diving deeply and saying, well, who is Michael Occhionero?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, okay, yeah, that's
she hits hard right away off the bat. Who is he? Let's go.
Who is he?
Deep.
I would have prepared an essay about who I am. I'm an author. I mean, I've been writing since I was about 20 years old. So right now it's been about 13 years. I've written 4 books. My newest book, The Cliche, which you hold in your hands, came out last year. Why did I want to start writing? I guess I started thinking about it when I was in school. Initially, I was going to follow in the footsteps of pretty much everyone in my family and get a white-collar job like an accountant or something of that nature. But,
and you're wearing the white collar. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, it's ironic. But no, I ended up working in an office. I've told this story on podcast before, but it's a good one. I worked in an office a summer. Doing data entry and getting a feel for what it's like to have a white-collar job, and I wanted to blow my brains out. So
Not good, huh?
Yeah. So I quickly realized that was not for me, and I always had a bit of an artistic bent, and I started. I'm not really good at drawing, but I love music, and I've always loved books. I read a lot when I was a kid, and so I decided that initially I didn't transition directly from that into wanting to write, I figured I would become a teacher, which I did actually end up teaching for about 6 years while I was starting my company as well, US Publishing, which I now run full time. But while I was doing my undergrad, I just had a realization that like a lot of my professors who I was trying to emulate because I wanted to become a university professor were actually just in every class, spending the entire class praising authors. And it just like dawned on me that I guess the pinnacle, it's not nice to say it's the professors, but I mean like I guess the pinnacle, it's true, a lot of them would say that because a lot of teachers, you know, teach as a go-between or to support their writing. A lot of teachers I know, especially English teachers, arts majors, love to write or do have a creative outlet. So I realized, you know, like it would be the ultimate challenge to myself to actually write a book. So when I graduated, my last year of university, I started writing, and when I graduated, I decided to take a year off before I went and do a master's degree, and I wanted to take that time to challenge myself and see if I actually could write a book, and I ended up succeeding in doing that and figuring it out and putting in all the work in that year, and then I ended up publishing my first book, Idle Hands, when I was 23 years old. So I was really that was a really big milestone for me, a really big important moment in my life that it made me realize that I could actually do this.
23?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow, 23 was how many more beers could I fit in before I fall to the ground? That was my 23.
That's a little bit of what I was writing about. So
Good.
It was my 23 too.
Yeah, but you were able to put it right. Wow.
Put it in
hats
words.
off, man. Hats off. That's,
Thank you.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so I mean that was the beginning of the journey, pretty much.
Now, what's one word that would describe you as an author?
I would say honest.
And why?
I think that if in any art form, if the artist is not being honest, then it's not going to create that human connection with the audience, and that the art is probably not very genuine, and if it's not very genuine, it probably doesn't have too much value, because the point of art is to trigger catharsis in the audience, to create an emotional reaction, to create some relation to some human element that they couldn't express themselves, but that they see mirrored in the song, painting, book, poem, whatever they're consuming. So if it ain't honest, it's probably not worth too much.
So how is it that you came to develop your ideas for your books? Are they developed ideas, or are they spur of the moment? Are they inspirational? And I'm talking about from your first book at 23 to this last one, the Cliche.
Well, they're all very different, so that's one thing about me. Like, I like to do something very different with each undertaking, because I feel like it keeps it fresh for me. It makes it a new challenge. It makes me have to do research in a new space, which I enjoy doing. I read a lot for leisure, and I read all over the map, and I don't like reading two books that are similar in a row. Like, I'll read a biography, and then I'll read a book about history, and then I'll read a classic novel, and then I'll read a poetry collection, and you know, I like moving around like that. So for my first book, when I first started writing, I was, like I said, you know, I was like 22, 23 when I was writing the book, and I was thinking like, I want to write something that has impact, and I started off, you know, with lofty ideas, which I think, you know, if you're a young undergraduate in the arts and you're trying to write a book, you already have lofty ideas in your head. That in and of itself is a lofty idea. So I was like, you know, I want to write a book that like changes the world. Of course, you're young, you're idealistic. But I quickly realized when I was starting to write my first short stories and my first pieces that wasn't going to happen. I'm 22 years old. I don't know anything. I'm a moron. Like, you're not going to write a book about, you know, geopolitics and sound profound. Like, that's not the way it's gonna work. So I realized that what I should actually be doing is accurately portraying the world that I know. Mm-hmm. So I pared it down, and I, you know, by force of like, I guess like the primary objective was to be honest, and I couldn't be honest if I was writing about things I didn't know about, and it just fell into place that I should be writing about what I do know about. So the main character of the first book was basically like an anti-hero based on me, where all of the worst tendencies in my personality were cranked up to off the charts, and you follow him as he navigates being a young man, trying to get through things without taking on responsibility. And you see how things quickly fall apart for him, and the novel acts as a cautionary tale in that way of what bad ideas
Yeah.
will manifest themselves as in your life. So
nice.
yeah, so that ended up working, and the feedback I got on that novel was that it's very raw and it's very emotionally honest. So I mean, that's what I was going for, and yeah. So then I for my second book, I wanted to do something else. Like, one of my favorite novels is Brave New World by
Beautiful book.
Aldous Huxley. Yeah, I love
Yes,
that book.
very
It's
good.
fantastic. I've read it several times. And I just wanted to do like an homage piece to Brave New World. Like, I love dystopian fiction. It's one of my favorite genres. It's one of the most popular genres in fiction. I think it is the second most popular after romance.
It's true, eh? That's true.
Yeah. So so I just did a bunch of research, read a bunch of the classics for dystopian fiction, watched a lot of TV shows, Black Mirror, Westworld, things like that. And I ended up writing that book, and that book was done in a lot more of a methodical manner. It was done with like for the first book, I had an idea of where I wanted it to go, and I sort of like scrambled my way to the ending. For the second book, I had a very clear outline. I knew exactly, what the beginning was going to be, what the climax would look like, how things were going to unfold at the end, and then with that outline, I pieced it together. So it was a very different process.
Does it get easier as you finish off one book at a time? Does it become easier to be inspired or to know the ideas that you want for your next book?
I would say in a way, yes, because I mean, like, now I've written 4 books. One of them is a poetry collection, but like in grand total, I've written probably like 400,000 words that are in print. So I mean, that obviously has to bring you some level of comfort in doing that. I mean, it's just repetitions, right? Mm-hmm. So in a way, yes. I mean, for me to craft a sentence now is a lot. It's on my fingertips a lot more than when I started. Mm-hmm. That being said, the better you get at what you do, the more ambitious you get in the concepts that you want to take on, and in the projects that you want to take on. So it's like it gets easier in that you get better, but it doesn't get easier because you acknowledge that you're better and you push yourself more. So it's like, what I was able to do was this. I'm going to be here and I'm trying to catch it. What I'm able to do now is this. I'm going to be here and I'm trying to catch it. So it's like, it feels kind of the same. It feels like I'm just pushing myself to the maximum of my ability at any given time. So it's still challenging.
So what do you hope for for a reader? What do you hope for them to take out of your work? Like, let's say the Cliche, the last one, the last book. What is it as an author that you hope for a reader to take from your work?
So for me, I feel like for all of my books, I try to do things where I think about it like, at face value, you're reading the book and you want the book to be entertaining. Mm-hmm. You want the pages to turn. You want to feel like you're engaged with the story, like you care about the characters, like you're enthralled by the plot and you want to know what's going to happen next. So first things first, that objective needs to be realized. But after that, there's obviously the depth of the piece and wanting to have some sort of theme, some sort of meaning, some sort of thought-provoking parts of the book that will leave the reader thinking about it after they've completed it. So for the Cliche, at face value, it's a comedic book. At face value, everyone that's read it and that's given me feedback on it has told me that they laughed out loud while reading it, which was that's what I was going for. So that's great. But a lot of people have also been asking, like, well, but what was this part about? Or like, what were you getting at with this part? And I like, if it's a close friend of mine, obviously I'll go into it. But if it's not a close friend, if it's just a reader that I've met at an event or someone who just bought the book and I never met them, like I like the idea that they're pondering, they're scratching their head, and they're trying to put it together, because that's what I enjoy when I'm reading a classic novel. I read mostly classic novels. When I read a great novel, I feel like I have an inkling of what the deeper message is, but it's like the more I think about it, the more it like crystallizes. I try to do that with my books as well. So.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
fantastic. So what's the hardest part of being an author and writing? Let's say the Cliche. What was the hardest part for you?
So the Cliche was different from the other two books because the concept was a bit more out there. Like the Cliche is like it's a postmodern book, so it's like little vignettes that are connected around the character and that sort of coalesce to make the storyline. And I had an idea of what I wanted the theme to be, but I also knew that I wanted the majority of the subject matter of the book to be like in the day-to-day, in the mundane. So it was a bit more challenging for me to like see the bigger picture. It took me longer just to like see it in my own head before I could execute it. But generally speaking, I would say that the hardest thing about being a writer is drafting. When you start writing the book, you have nothing.
A blank paper.
You have nothing. And turning nothing into something is the hardest part. Once you have the verbal diarrhea on the page, editing it, I've always found that editing it is more time consuming, editing it is more work, but it's almost like passive. It's like you're reading something, you're like, oh, this is good, oh, I don't like that, and you just change a sentence here, change a sentence there. When you have nothing, it's like you have to invent that the guy went to the store. You have to invent that he bought peanut butter. You have to invent that there was no more smooth, so you have to get the crunchy. Like,
Wasn't Jeff?
Yeah, so that part.
Oh my God.
I'm curious. Sorry to
It's
get in
okay.
there. I'm curious because you have a business as well.
Yeah.
So do you mind sharing what
Sure, yeah.
the business is? So
The business is a publishing house. It's called AOS Publishing. We have about 120 or 130 authors working with us now.
Oh, nice.
I started the company in 2019, and it's been growing since, which I'm very grateful for. And yeah, it was sort of came out of my experience. The first book that I put out, I self-published it, and I managed to get distribution for it by myself, and I managed to do events at stores by myself. And I learned a lot through that process, and ended up bringing in some partners that rounded out some of the skills that I was missing, and that complement me very well. And then we started a company, and now it's off and running, and it's what I do full time now. So I'm very grateful for that.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
So,
What's the name of it, if you don't mind me asking?
It's AOS Publishing, so
AOS
Ace of Swords Publishing.
Ace of Swords.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Okay, should we ask where the name came from?
Sure. I mean, I think at face value, I think it's just cool. Yeah, and I like I'm into like the tarot deck and like the interpretation of the symbolism of the tarot deck, and I enjoy the symbolism of the Ace of Swords. Like power, the double-edged sword,
nice.
risk and reward. I like the symbolism, the meaning of it, and how that's paired with the idea of an entrepreneurial venture where you're laying it on the line, and yeah.
Oh wow, that's very thought-provoking, coming up with a name.
I thought it was from Scalaguaran.
That too.
So is that type of focus always go into anything that you do in terms of your work?
I mean, I try for sure. I try to be pretty thoughtful about stuff. It's just I guess it's just the way I'm wired. Like I like it, and also like I said, I read a lot of books, so it started to come more naturally to me. Like I don't know. Sometimes it's almost to the point where like I just if I'm gonna come up with something, for me to like it, I'm not even doing it necessarily consciously, but like for me to like it, it has to have some sort of depth, or else I'm not gonna acknowledge it as like cool. You know what I mean? Like if it's too easy, if it's artificial, if it's very surface level, I could like appreciate it for that, but I'll like for example with a song, like when I'm listening to music, like as a writer, like I care a lot about lyrics, of course. So like for me, like I say this often with my friends, like if I'm listening to a song and the melody is fantastic, the guitars are incredible, the drum line is fantastic, it can only be so good unless it has the cherry on the sundae, which is that the lyrics are deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it adds
Makes
that
sense.
element
Makes
of
sense.
genius, right?
Yeah, it's one of the it's one of the layers.
Oh,
Not like what's his name? Iglesias. What's his name?
Enrique Iglesias.
Yeah, I got a hangover. Whoa! I'm listening. I'm like, wow.
Hangover. He didn't sing that song.
He literally did.
What?
Yeah, he literally the chorus. Is,
I'm arguing with the musician,
I've
right?
got a
They're like, I don't know where
hangover.
you're going there.
oh, because I drank too much. Like it's. I'm like.
Yeah, but it has a great beat. Do you dance to it? I do.
Yeah,
Just saying.
sure,
Yeah.
there's a place for it.
And exactly. So there.
Yeah, in a nursery. Yeah, there's a place in jail. Yeah, that's the place. Sorry.
So bad. So where do you see, because now you finished the cliche.
Yeah.
So from this book, where do you see yourself launching? And is it another book? Is it another project? Like, where do you see yourself after this? Because this, I mean, every book that you advance, I would imagine those are big shoes to fill, right? So when you do well on one, do you ever have that preoccupation? Can I maintain that status? And when you reach a higher level, can I maintain that status, reach higher or aim higher? So
Yeah.
is this something that is a challenge when you're an author? Is this something that you can be concerned about?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel like you could fall into that sandpit, but I try to avoid it. I mean, fundamentally, the reason I do it is because I enjoy it. I do it for me. I do it because it feels good, makes me feel accomplished, and makes me feel like I am cleaning out, the cobwebs out of my brain, getting whatever I need to off my chest. It's very therapeutic. That's the primary reason I do it. So I don't really think about that, but I am a very competitive person, and I do think that the person you compete with is yourself. So I do, push myself to be the best that I can be. But I feel like I have a very healthy relationship with it. I don't really feel like I ever feel depressed or pressured, or again, I do it because I enjoy it, and I get to do it. It's a privilege. It's a pleasure. But as for the next project, I've been trying. I actually have a novella that I've written, and I'm working on getting ready for publication. It might come out this year, maybe early next year. But I don't like. I wrote that like on a whim. Like I had an idea and I wanted to write it, and I wrote it, and it's fun and I like it. But like, I view I even have a poetry collection I put out, but I view my novels as like the main thing that I do. So like the next novel is like, I have an idea, but I need to like let it percolate a little bit. It's not ready. It needs to I need to flush it out. I also need to like to a degree like feel ready to do it, because it's a huge undertaking. And like we were talking a little bit before we started filming, like is it like, do I just sit down and write, or like do I have to wait for the muse to come grab me? But you do just have to sit down and write. I mean, like, to write a book takes, hours and hours and hours and hours, and you have to have like a dedicated schedule of like, I'm gonna sit down, especially when you're drafting. Like I was saying before, like, like if you wanna like write a chapter, you're not gonna wait until the inspiration strikes to write the chapter. You might wait for when the inspiration strikes to know what the chapter is about, but to actually write the chapter is gonna take a few days of you sitting down, just like, okay, today for these 2 hours, I'm gonna be writing. It doesn't have to be good. It just needs to be not nothing.
Yeah. Okay. So take us on a trip with the Cliche.
Yeah.
In terms of the storyline, in terms of how it was that you came about to write the Cliche. Like, how did this manifest? How was it born?
The story of the Cliche is that it's a bit of a joke. Like there's a writer who's suffering from writer's block, and he thinks that his life is too good in the 21st century, and that all of the great novels that he's ever read were written in times of strife and times of suffering. So he thinks that he has to start sabotaging his life so that he could be unhappy, so that he could write a good book, so that he could finally be happy.
Oh my God, okay,
And it's like the cliche is like the cliche that you need to suffer to create great art. So that's like the like joke of the book. And you follow the character whose name is Mao, which is again, you know, a little joke. If you look at the initials of the writer on the book,
Yeah.
So
Michael A. Occhionero, by the way.
so that's it. So you just follow him as he goes through his wacky adventures, trying to write his book.
That's great. I love that.
I like that idea.
thanks.
So, is it part of how you write to add these little, twists and turns, so to speak?
Yeah, sure. I mean, if it's too obvious, it's gonna be boring. But yeah, so I mean, I feel like the book is about. I mean, I don't want to give away the ending.
Exactly. Don't.
We have to read it.
Yeah, you got to read it.
I have mine. I'm definitely going to read this because I'm very, very intrigued by the whole concept, which is really, really interesting. Which leads me to my next question, because there's so many books out there. Okay.
Yeah.
There's so many stories.
Yeah.
There's so many concepts and ideas. How do you know that, sometimes it's hard to find out or to realize that yours is the innovative one, right? How do you do that?
About mine or about others?
No, but in general, because I know this one is this one is very different. I have
time.
never heard of a storyline like this. But I mean, how can you be sure? Like, how can you tell? Because there's so many authors out there.
Honestly,
like, why would somebody want to read your novel?
Well, hopefully they're gonna see me on this podcast and they're gonna be blown away.
And they're gonna be I want to see it.
And I'm gonna be honest. I want to read them now.
Yeah.
Like instantly, I want to read them. So
That's why I'm here.
That's,
Fantastic.
I definitely want to read this. It's true.
No, for real. Like that. It's true. Just to see, right now, based on this interview, like your responses, how you're going about it, I see that it's a passion.
Yeah.
And now I want to get in that brain.
Now we want to dissect.
Fantastic.
I want to dissect it, which is amazing. Because I have a quick question. Where would you, I don't know the process. So how do you publish? I've heard all these terms, publish and all of that stuff. What happens? How does it work? Like a distribution company puts it in stores? Is that what it is? And then
Yeah, sure. So exactly right. There's different ways of going about it. Like with my company, we sell all our books on our website, on Amazon internationally, and in major retailers. So like Indigo, Barnes and Noble, Waterstones in the UK. But yeah, like it took some time to be able to set that up for sure. And we're still developing our relationships with the stores and with the managers and and with independent stores, they're normally very receptive to you reaching out. They love helping out a local author too. So cool. Yeah, I mean what was your question?
Well, how does it work? Like is it the publishing company that does the, let's say, marketing for the advertising?
Sure. Well, every publishing company is going to be different, but ours does, yes. Okay. So we're going to take care of everything A to Z. We do the editing, the formatting, the cover design, the distribution, the social media, and the promotion as well. So that would be like reviews, awards, press release, media outreach, getting you on podcasts and stuff, and booking events too if you want to go do events at stores.
Okay.
Which is a big thing. It's important to go do that. You meet new readers, and it lends a lot of credibility.
Sure,
Very
that's
nice.
amazing. Okay, so it's kind of like a label-ish.
Yeah, exactly.
Music,
Yeah,
so
very similar for sure.
And you can do like a book tour and signings.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
all of that
Yeah.
stuff. Wow, that's
That's fantastic. So I have this might be a difficult question.
Tell me.
What is the one line in your book that resonates with you and why?
Honestly, I can't answer that. Well,
No.
and I'll be honest with you too. I haven't read that book in like 3 years.
Okay.
Like after I finished it, I haven't reread it. But I actually was talking to one of my friends the other day, and I was saying I want to go back and reread all of my books. Like I haven't read them in a while, and I feel like it would be a nice, fresh experience to reread them and see how they hit me now. As I'm a different person now. You never step in the same river twice, kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, look, a lot of people say that it's very important to have a short-term memory as an artist, and so that you can continue to generate new ideas. And part of that is not dwelling on the things that you've written before or the things that you've created before, and if you would have asked me like when I was finishing the book up, I had the book memorized. I read the book at least like 100 times.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But now I haven't read it in 3 years, and like I don't want to remember it.
Do you foresee Mao having like another cliche to like is there a sequel? Yeah.
I'll never say never,
Keep
but
clicheing.
like I'll never say never, but like so far, like I don't like sequels. I don't like series. Personally, I like one-offs. I like
Gotcha.
if you're giving me a book. My opinion on this, maybe it's controversial. My opinion is you're giving me a book. It's 60 to 100,000 words, generally speaking. You didn't have enough time to complete your idea.
Yeah.
That's good.
Like, it's gonna take me hours to read it. Like, I like complete works. Like, a novel is already an extremely long art form. I like when you get the payoff at the end of the first novel. That's not to say that I didn't enjoy Harry Potter, I didn't enjoy Lord of the Rings. I do. I like, but the thing about series usually is that they're primarily plot driven. They're usually about what is going to happen, and they're usually world driven as well. Like, I like the world, I like spending time with this cast of characters, and I want to know what's going to happen. So you can make like a more epic, plot arc to a story with a series. But for me, I prefer more like philosophical works, and a novel that is going to be self-contained and give that payoff within the one contained novel. Like I like that. That's what I prefer.
So I mean, I agree with you, because I do see what you're saying. And when you said Brave New World, there are books that you can actually go into that and say, I've completed it. I feel satisfied.
Absolutely.
So, and I have a feeling that that's what's happening in the Cliche, that a reader, anybody who reads it, will feel satisfied with the story, and they're going to continue to wanting to read it. Now, you were talking about editing the book. Now, I can understand as an author, you must also be a perfectionist. So everything has to go according to how you envision the book and how you wish for it to unfold. The editing part, is that the hardest part? Because I know you said even coming up with your idea and writing it, right? Not necessarily an inspiration. You have this idea and you just go with it. But editing afterwards, you said you're your harshest critic. After reading your words, how is it that you feel reading what you initially started? Like, do you say to yourself, oh my God, I have to scrap it? Like, are you one of those, I'm scrapping it and I'm starting over? Or do you take what you've already done and you sort of run with it?
I guess it depends. Like, sometimes you have to scrap it, but I would say that, we were talking before about does it get easier? One of the things that has gotten a lot easier for me has been editing. I feel like I trust my judgment a lot more. I feel like I scrap things a lot less because like that's not true actually. I scrapped at least.
You have to be honest.
Yeah, I scrapped at least like 25,000 words for this
Oh my
book.
goodness.
Yeah. But it's just because it wasn't necessary. But no, like I feel like for example, my first book, I read it obsessively, probably around 170 times. I think that was around the count that I had. I think I read it around 170 times. I literally knew it by heart before I released it, but that's because I was nervous. It's your first time. You want it to be. If you're being a perfectionist, it's just because you're nervous. Ultimately, you don't think it's good enough. You think that you're worried about what other people are going to say about it. So I have to make it perfect. Perfect doesn't exist, but it's fine, it's your first time, so got the jitters out. My second book, I think I read it around 100 times. This book, I said 100 before, I exaggerated. I read this book probably like 60 or 70 times before I released it, which I feel like is a happy medium. I still am very thorough. I'm still very sure that I am happy with it because, I have a rule that like I want to read through it in its entirety without changing more than like 5 to 10 words.
Okay.
At least 3 times, and then it's ready.
So when you edit your work, you go into it with that mindset that you're already satisfied with the end result. You're just tweaking here and there. Is that something that is customary, or is it something that, because we can be our harshest critic?
Yeah, so it depends. Like with this book, it was initially like 85,000 words, like I was saying, and the final version's around 60. And I had some beta readers read it, like 5 people, and give me notes.
Yeah.
And it was very helpful, and that's a very helpful stage in the process at all times, because out of those 5 people, 4 of them gave me the exact same comment, which made me realize that a certain part of the book was dragging, and that it made me make like the hard decision. But ultimately it wasn't hard, because like I want the book to be the best it could be, to cut a bunch of stuff that was creating that drag, and deliver a more pared down, a more lean and mean kind of manuscript. So yeah, I mean, yeah, sorry.
It's okay. Yeah. But so, when you see your final product, when you look back on it, now not necessarily the content, but if you look back on your book, what can you say was your biggest challenge when it came to this book?
With this
or
one,
any book?
Yeah. So with the first one, it was confidence to release it, and to make other people read it. With this book, it was the concept. Like, it was making everything come together, because writing, like, so the thing, like a postmodern book, just to like put it like very, very simply, like books that like break the fourth wall, for example, that were, like, for example, House of Cards, when Kevin Spacey looks at the camera and starts talking to you.
Yeah.
That is called breaking the fourth wall, because it's like the art is acknowledging the audience, and so implicitly acknowledging itself as art. It's like, okay, I know I'm a book, and I know you're reading me, so I'm gonna talk to you.
Okay.
So normally, not always, but often when there's a piece that does that, it lends itself to comedy, because like that's very ironic and that's very like sarcastic.
Yeah.
So blending all of these elements in a way that isn't lame and that like hits what the nail you're trying to hit, that's what was the hardest thing to figure out with this book. Like just the concept, like getting everything delivered in a way that I was happy with, and that gave. Often postmodern books that are ironic and sarcastic are sort of like self-defeating loops, where there's the theme of the book or the message of the book is that there is no meaning to life.
Okay.
Often that's what ends up happening, absurdism. I didn't want to go that route. I wanted this book to have a meaning. I wanted to break that trope, and that cliche. So that was what was challenging. How am I going to write a postmodern book that breaks some of the conventions of a postmodern book, but that also like exists as a very good example of a postmodern book? So the concept for this book was something I needed to think about more than my other books.
Is there some of you in the character?
There's some of me in all of my characters. They all come out of me.
So how do you know which one to choose? Which part of you to choose to put in your book, in your character?
Well,
I stumped the scholar!
no, I mean, I wanted this book to be funny, so I just put the most hilarious parts of me in it.
No, but in each of your books,
Yeah.
Do you have that comedy element, or is there
No.
a different part of you in each of your
No.
characters?
There are a couple of funny moments in the first book, but it's dark.
Okay.
The second book is very cerebral, very, very philosophical, and it's like a dystopian. It's a dystopian vibe. It's a dystopian book.
Yeah.
This one is very lighthearted and very comedic. So that too, like just establishing the mood and the atmosphere of a novel is. I find it a very fun challenge. Like I had never written something of this style, and I'm glad that I persevered with this book. Took me about 5 years to complete.
Oof.
My first 2 books took me about 1.5 to 2 years each.
Wow.
So I'm glad I stuck with it. I'm glad that we got it out, and that the payoff was there.
Quick question here, because I know like writing is an art, like we all know that, and all of this. So, because it's interesting, because like in music, we write a song and then you develop a style. So then, like people don't want to see you like sway from that style at work. Does that happen in writers, or is because you're a writer, you can come up with a comedy, or you can come up with a romance, or you can come up with whatever you want. So like, is it a thing to go down one lane, like other than money? Like, if something hits, Star Wars wrote a book, and then they wrote 150,000 other books in the same vein because it hit and there's money. But
of course,
as a writer in the art form, is there like an avenue that you usually follow? Or is it like what you do? Is it a regular thing? Is that what writers do, or do writers like?
I feel like it's similar to music. It's like I feel like the majority of musicians, the majority of writers are gonna have their style, their formula that works. Like for example, there's a lot of like there's some range, for example, and he's like probably the best example of like a horror writer, but like there's a lot of range in Stephen King, but there's also a very recognizable novel that's going to come from Stephen King.
Yeah.
And there are other writers like adventure writers, like or detective writers, that are just going to write in the genre. But actually, an artist that I was really, really into at the time when I was writing my first book that made me feel that I wanted to be like this sort of chameleon was David Bowie, and like he changed a lot from record to record, and it blew my mind. It made me like really feel that this was something special, that this was like a rare talent, that this was a chameleon, an artistic chameleon, and I loved that concept and I wanted to emulate it. So that's where I got the idea of like not doing the same thing, always doing something different.
Does that reach, because I don't know that world well enough to say, does that reach like, so would this book keep the people that like, I don't want to say fans, but I don't know if that's the word.
Yeah, I know what you're getting
yeah,
at.
Like
would I make my life easier if I was writing, if I developed a style and was repeating it?
Well, would a writer follow another writer even though he changed the style? So
Because
I like
they're
your
going to
romance
play
book.
it.
Would I follow you writing a comic book, or
Well, it depends. Like there are some authors that I like. Well, for example, like Aldous Huxley, who is my favorite author. Like he has in his large body of work like different kinds of novels. Like he has like a group of novels that are this way, a group of novels that are this way, and a group of novels that are this way. I feel like it's just, and I've only written 4 so far. I mean, as my career continues, I feel like it'll become inevitable that some 2 of my novels are more similar than others.
Yeah, of course.
But I feel like it just depends. Like it's hard to say. It's the same in music. Like David Bowie was a massive success.
Yeah.
There are some people that just break the mold and do whatever they want, and people really resonate with that artistic integrity. And not to say that there isn't, not to say that it's not that you don't have artistic integrity if you have your style. It's just, I don't know. I guess it'll resonate with different people. Like for me, like it's like you might say that David Bowie is like an artist's artist. Like he's always trying to entertain one up himself. He's gonna entertain the other artists. He's gonna make other artists look at him and go, "Wow, I can't believe he pulled that off."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I like that. I find that really appealing, and also just for myself, like I like changing genre from book to book because it makes me feel like this is a really important book. This is a huge challenge, and like I feel like it's an event. It's a grand event. Yeah. Whereas if I was doing something that I know gets easier over time because I've done it, it's less motivating for me.
Becomes like factory work almost. Like
I don't know. I don't want to say that.
Yeah, I know. It's a little bit too.
It's harsh.
No, it's very true because like you said, writing a book is hours, years of dedication. So factory work is definitely not close to that. But just to say, like sometimes in music as well, sometimes you listen and you say, okay, he's just doing more of the same to,
Sure.
And does that happen with writers as well?
I'm sure, yeah, of course. Yeah. And I just said, like Stephen King. Like Stephen King's written, like 50 books. Not all of them are going to be great, like...
Not all of them are.
I'm sure.
I stopped midstream for a lot of them, yeah.
Like, I've only read one of his books, The Shining, which I enjoyed. I would like to read more of his books. But, I have a lot of friends who are big fans, so I've read a lot of them. But, like, I don't know, let's say he has 50... and maybe let's say like a dozen were adapted into films, and those are probably the best ones.
Yeah.
It's still 12 out of 50, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and the other ones are probably, there's probably some similarity in, there's a recognizable style to Stephen King. And realistically, there's a recognizable style to David Bowie, even though he's changing genres, and there's a recognizable style to me. Like if you've read my writing, you get a sense of my personality. and you can see that it's the same writer,
Yeah.
book to book. He's
Yeah.
just in a different world now.
Okay. That's really cool.
So, last question. What would you like your legacy to be as an author?
I mean, I'm only 33 years old. Where am I going?
Well, because you think
Where am I
because you
going?
know why? Because you already have your own publishing company, right? But sometimes you can think that
Yeah.
I'm not saying that far. I'm
Yeah.
saying, but you obviously have some sort of direction based on what you just said. You already were quite clear that you don't want to be like typecast into a certain
Sure.
genre. You want it to be across the board.
My legacy at 50 years old would be writing 4 books. I'm not even nowhere close to that. So.
No, we're not talking about comic books, Vanny. But I'm saying because you already have an idea of what you don't want to be identified as,
Sure.
which is typecast as an author that only writes this type of genre. So that's why if you are able to make that prediction now,
Yeah.
right, do you have some semblance of a prediction for, let's say, 5 years down the road?
Well, I mean, look, the way I feel is that I'm very young and I still haven't been discovered. Frankly, I feel like I would like to continue to grow my readership base. I feel like I would like to continue to entertain people. I feel like every time, and I'm blessed that it has happened, quite a good amount of times. Like every time someone comes to talk to me about my book and gives me a compliment, it's the best feeling in the world. I want that to continue. I want that to increase, and I just want to keep working hard and. Ask me again in 10 years.
Where can people buy all of them?
Yeah.
All of them, yes.
All of my books are available on aospublishing.com, on Amazon, on Indigo's website as well.
Very cool.
Anywhere you like.
Can anyone follow you on social media?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can find me at my name, Michael Occhionero. I'm on Instagram primarily, and my company is also at AOS Publishing on Instagram as well. That's how we're most active, yeah.
Wow.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much.
My
This
pleasure.
was like
Thanks for having
riveting.
me.
That's the word, riveting.
Wow.
It was actually, yeah. Because I mean, not many people can accomplish what you've accomplished at such a young age.
Thank you.
I mean, 33 is today's 23, right? So not many
Sure.
people can accomplish that, but you should be very proud. And, this is something that you should be putting out there a lot more, because a lot of people should take the time to read what it is that you have put out there. I think it is, just the idea of the cliche, it must have been a real challenge. So I'm very eager to read this.
I look forward to hearing what you think.
All right. I will definitely let you know. So thank you so much for appearing as a guest. It was
Thanks
a
for
great
having me.
experience.
It was a pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you, Vanny. Thank you, everybody. Guys, the cliche is out. Please, please. I think this would be a very ideal book to sit down and read, because as Michael explained, this is definitely something that is outside the box. It's comedic, and it has a little bit of a Michael flavor to it. So definitely take a look. I'm definitely reading this, and I will definitely put it out on my social media and give my thoughts on it. But thank you again. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I wish everybody a great evening, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.